A Roth account is one of the most powerful accounts you'll ever have. Now, most of you have a Roth IRA. You've opened it up. Maybe you funded it for a few years. Maybe you're starting to do Roth conversions. But this Roth account, why is it so valuable? My dad always jokes, who is this Roth guy anyway? Now, the reality is this Roth account, for most of you, is the most powerful account you'll ever have. It's so powerful, they only let you put in a certain amount of money every single year. If they let you put in an unlimited amount, people would overdo it, and the government would probably not love that. So what we're talking about in our new series, Root Drops, are little tidbits of knowledge that are going to help you optimize your finances. And you get to hear it not from me, but from one of my amazing advisors that are actually working with clients to implement this type of advice. So why are we talking about Roths? Well, that was actually a question that got put into our free community, the Root Collective, which as of this recording has over 3,200 members. If you want your question to potentially be addressed in a future Root Drops episode, make sure to go in the description and enter to see how you can go ahead and start typing away in there. It's one of those things that I find most people don't consider, because it's one thing to hear from myself or from one of my amazing advisors, Evan, who you're about to hear from, or from James, or from Jay, any of our amazing team members here. But it's different if you're able to correspond with other people like you in a similar stage of life who want to retire early, who are wondering, should I do Roth conversions? Can I retire early? How do I get my spouse involved? So make sure to go ahead and join that free community. Now, let's read the question for today's episode. This comes from someone whose actual username is RET early, like retire early, and they say withdrawal of Roth contributions. Is a withdrawal of Roth before age 59 and a half a reasonable strategy to help with an early retirement? Has anyone used this? Any pitfalls to be aware of? Now, part of our job as advisors here at Root is to certainly advise clients on what they should do, but I would argue maybe even equally more important, or perhaps truly more important, is telling clients what not to do. And that's what we're going to do today. So I've got Evan with us, one of our amazing advisors at Root. Evan, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, great question. Many people don't know what Retire Early here is mentioning in this post of you can withdraw personal Roth contributions at any point, no questions asked. But as already alluded to, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And in fact, most of the time, it doesn't make sense to. The reasons being is because of asset location. We talked a little bit more about this in a previous video, but reason being is we want our Roth IRAs to grow as fast and as far as possible. And so we want to invest it aggressively in equities and not touch it for many, many years. So part of our job is to help people know what to do, but also to advise against certain things like this. And we don't need to, pool Roth IRAs out just for the sake of, oh, we're retired now. This is what it's here for. It's similar to maybe even an HSA. Like I have an HSA, I have health expenses, of course, but it's better to cash flow that, set the HSA savings aside, invest them, and then later down the road, my HSA has doubled or tripled and quadrupled and worth a ton more. It's better to use it at that point when you have even more health expenses later in life. So just a reminder to check with your CPA or advisor to consider what's your withdrawal strategy and where you should be pulling these funds from.
Guys, I hope you heard that last point. That was awesome. Evan's a cool guy and he's super humble, so he didn't want to brag about how smart it is. But the truth is, think about it for a second. Like you can go buy your first home, you can use a portion of Roth dollars. But does that mean you should? No. Guys, Roth, that's your best account for tax-free growth forever. You never pay taxes once it's in that Roth account. So Evan's example, I think, is brilliant on the HSA side. He could go use his healthcare card and go buy whatever that's, eligible to qualify for HSA expenses, but he doesn't. He uses cash flow, and instead, he's going to go ahead and be able to expense that later. That HSA is triple tax-free. So that's not the topic today, but when you get a deduction, that's pretty awesome. Then it grows, you don't pay taxes. And in the future, you could also not pay taxes because it's a qualified medical expense. And most people don't even know that when you're 65, the HSA turns into an IRA. It doesn't even have to be for medical expenses. So what Evan's doing is he's optimizing to the nth degree. If you're currently interested in retiring early and optimizing your financial strategy, Evan likes working with cool people who want to truly get the most life out of their money. To us, a good financial plan is a life well lived. This is what we help people do. If you go to Root Financial, in the upper right, you're going to see a little button that says, see if you're a fit. If you click on that, you'll be prompted to just answer a few questions, and you could be connected to someone just like Evan, or literally Evan, if you resonated with the way he explains information. If you went, wait a second, I didn't even know about that HSA thing or that Roth. I was literally planning on using my Roth to keep my income really low during the early years of retirement for healthcare purposes, but now I realize maybe that's not optimal. Maybe I should let that keep growing and instead use some other investment. So if you resonate with Evan and his style, or you think, you know what, I think my spouse is just going to really like this guy, awesome. You can reach out and work with people like Evan by going to our website, rootfinancial.com. Once again, in the upper right, you're going to see a little button that says, see if you're a fit. You'll answer a few questions and be connected very quickly thereafter. Now, I'm very transparent. Guys, I do all of this for free. We want to post these clips so that you guys can learn more and maybe some things that you otherwise just wouldn't have had any idea of. So do me a favor. Please like this video. Please comment if there's something that you learned, and then please share it with someone you want to retire early with. That's it for this video. See you guys next time.